This is just to understand. Is that like you go home and you want to make a soup and you have your ingredients in the fridge? So you take everything and then you have some salads and everything. They are the horns and other musicians. But then in your situation, can you fire the salad which is not fresh enough and to take this, a little bit more spicy? Because is it true that before the big event, you practice a lot together. Yeah. You make the soup.
But you absolutely. I like your metaphors a lot. But the thing is, you see, you've already done something which I like a lot. You were engaging in a dialogue with the salad. Mm-hmm. You didn't, just say, I need this, I need this, I need this. I am making whatever I want. You said, okay, I have tomatoes. They're a little bit, maybe not, so maybe we make a sauce out of those tomatoes. The important thing is that you can choose to say, this is what I want. If I cannot get the right kind of, sound from this guy, I'm gonna fire him and get a new one if I can, or just make a big scandal and get the orchestra. But you can also say, look, I had this idea of making a certain dish for tonight, but now that I see that the people are different, not necessarily less good than I thought. Maybe something, broccoli is now so good. So you put it in the center and you say, okay, this will determine and I'll build everything around it. But it's even not you that have to decide. If the broccoli is indeed so good, everybody else will know that. And they will adjust. They will take ideas. After all, we're not talking about vegetables, or we're talking about live musicians.
Of course.
And they will catch an idea, a phrase, a tone of, and they will use it to get better themselves. Together. So what you have to do is to engage in this dialogue with all the ingredients, as you put it, and create a conversation between. That's why you're a conductor. That you have to justify.
That's how it works in the daily life.
No. Unfortunately, you have so many people just coming and saying, "This is how I want it," and I don't mind if you're not that fresh today. I don't mind if you're lacking of this. I want to make this dish, and of course, I don't want to do it black and white. But what we need is much more. Involvement, engagement, getting back to this creative element in each one of the players, and it's maybe interesting to know that in classical music there was a very strong reaction against the classical type of conductor, a Toscanini type, great dictator. You even have orchestras that do not want to play with a conductor. Like if 40 people playing together, Orpheus Orchestra from New York, 40 people playing together, spending so much time on rehearsals because they have to discuss everything between themselves, and they have to vote and really build consensus. But they say, with a conductor, we give up so much of our responsibilities. We okay, he's doing the thinking, I'll just do this. And we don't want this, we want our voice. And for that, they're willing to invest so much time and effort and, and nerves, or just to get back to the point where they're active, creative musicians.
I see. So we have a lot of nice conclusions in the musician life, but what is your message to the business field? Because we can see it's very complex to make the music as you like. Yeah. What is your main message?
You see, I have a little problem with stating my main message, because I believe, and this really is in alignment with what we talked about. I believe that I don't have all the knowledge, or even not the most important knowledge. What I can do, being a musician and understanding something about conducting, I can bring important, interesting, fruitful moments and put them either on the video or just show or speak about them, and then they act as a metaphor, as a vessel, you know, and then people, if they are businessmen, they will put their content in it and come out with their understanding. If they're doctors, if they're psychologists, if they're OD, you know, consultants, each discipline will, and each participant in one of those talks, workshops, will fill the metaphor with their own content. And this is great because if they trust me enough and they make me a partner of, you know, to their line of thinking, then my understanding of conducting is getting richer.
So you don't want to translate it. They might translate everybody to his or her own language. I'm sure.
But they can also make the connection, and therefore they can teach me something. They can teach their colleagues who may have different disciplines, and if something, there is a common language around music, but still it draws from different disciplines. But I don't want to avoid the question. I do have some kind of personal view, and this comes from, you mentioned Leonard Bernstein, who was my great teacher and mentor, and with Bernstein it was all about creating a constant dialogue around meanings. Why do we do what we do? So process was always there, because you cannot do anything without the process, but it was always connecting to the, you know, to the inner selves of each and every one of the participants, and I experienced it as a life-changing experience. Going out of your professional field, you know, professionalism, which is always necessary. You need to be professional in order, but building on that and going elsewhere, which is again now human in a deep sense, and can connect to everyone.
So you feel good at this position that you transfer these conducting experiences into the business. It's very sexy, actually.
Thank you for this remark, because I feel wonderful about it, because it is so easy to discover how, you know, how people have great joy in finding new stuff, new connections, new that are old, that are something they might have forgotten, and you know, I'm having fun in the deepest sense of the, you know, not just, you know, light-hearted, but really connecting to places of happiness through music. That's the most wonderful thing that can happen.
Yeah. You swear a lot during your work, yeah? And then when you finish, then, you know, with the smoking and everything, it's
Yeah.
whole heart and your movement, everything.
Yeah, but I have to say, it's even more rewarding than actually conducting. When you conduct, you work with the professional people, and you hope, you know, you're with your back to the audience. You don't see the audience.
Oh,
you
yeah.
hope the message is, and sometimes you're surprised because something is going extremely well, but the audience is quite cold. And the next night, the same orchestra, it's really not working, but they have a wonderful time. They clap, and it's very, you know, you're not controlling the message, actually,
Right.
or the way it's perceived.
Right.
And with my line of work now, where I engage in verbal dialogue with music, I'm much more able to understand and make people understand. So it's a two-way thing. It's not just me, you know, transmitting something.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
I'm also receiving something. So it's much more gratifying in a way.
Well, I hope that it will also take part of your own future development,
Yeah.
and it makes you also even more professional and understanding.
I think so.
And if I'm right, then tomorrow you will have workshop at the OD World Summit in Budapest 2010 about this topic.
Yeah, I wish it was a workshop. I think, you know, with 200 more, maybe 300 people that we have here, and on
Yeah,
1 hour it's more like an interactive event of some sort, because we will be talking and singing and doing stuff together. Yeah.
Well, I hope that they will feel the same as I do, because I believe that this conversation was really interesting, and your personality is really for this job.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for coming, and I hope that we'll have the chance in the life to talk further about this.
Of course, and thank you. I had a wonderful time. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
So we already did 3 of them.
Okay, I decided to record it because it's, I think, the best interview so far.
Have you ever settled the room with a world famous conductor?
Can you open that? That's pretty good. We have a good.
I'm so glad I can be here.
Now we have.
I'm very grateful.
Now we have a wonderful view.
Yes.
We're in business class. She's in economy. Everything is good.
That's what you wanted
Of course.
at the beginning already.
Okay.